The Good Morning Portugal Expat Sport Report.
Woo, that's a rousing start, isn't it? Bon noite, Portugal. And I'm so used to saying good morning, Portugal. I have to get into the habit for good evening, Portugal, to say to you, boa tarde, boa noite, Portugal. And here, screen right, is Frank Devane, who's standing in manfully for our man missing in action, Calvin Avery. How are you, Frank?
I'm doing very well, Carol. How are you doing? It's big shoes we got to fill in tonight.
They are big shoes, aren't they? Yes. And you know what they say about big shoes. And We'll see what we can do. Calvin might have the chance to have a little look in and maybe make a few comments. But we'll do what we can to cover the sport, and we encourage participation. It's a very interactive show, this, where we want people to come forward with their predictions, with their passion, obviously, for sport, and lots of punditry. And I notice we are broadcasting live into the Expat Sport Report community. A lot of people in there from all over the world. I suspect quite a lot of Man United fans in there. You know how it is. Man United have got fans all over the world, haven't they? And I think there's a few of them in there. You might get a little bit of pressure from there, Frank. How do you feel about that?
No, I'm okay with the pressure. Actually, there isn't any pressure. A lot of teams, they haven't won anything much. As far as United are concerned, we haven't been the best team for the longest time. I think there is no pressure for a United fan. United fan needs to sit back and just relax.
Okay, well, let's do that. We will do that tonight. That's good advice. So one thing that caught my mind, apparently, a lot of people move to Portugal for golf. There's been some major golfing change, and I'll read that out. The way they're changing the handicapping system, apparently, in golf is big news. So we'll have a little delve into that to serve those people who do like golf. You're mostly a soccer guy, am I right? Or are you a bit of an all-rounder like Calvin?
I'm a soccer guy. I'm a cricket guy. I'm a hockey guy.
Okay, so we can cover at least
soccer, baseball,
and baseball. Can we do something? Can we do something on all of those tonight?
Absolutely.
Oh, good news! Good news. Well, what's on your mind first and foremost?
First and foremost, in sports news, the biggest thing we have to look at is Bayern Munich hitting Barca for 8-2 tonight in Champions League. This kind of score comes along for any sports fan, especially footy fan. This kind of score comes along in a very, very long time. This is like Brazil versus Germany in the World Cup. This is not only embarrassing, I have a little bit of a giggle when I'm watching this score, because every time these kinds of things happen to Barca, sometime the little girl comes out from inside of me and starts giggling, and I'm really, really happy about this today.
All right, well, let's put a bit of flesh on those bones, because I found some background for the Champions League. Or have I? Have I got the right thing here? Let's try this and see what we can get on the screen. Yeah, here we go. This is the match you're talking about here, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Barcelona 2. Did you watch that today?
I watched a bit of it not until the carnage started, because it's the kind of classic carnage. When it starts, it doesn't stop. I went off because I was just like, oh, it's Bayern versus Barca, and my team is not on. But by the time I went and looked at the score again, I was just like, oh my God, rock star mode.
And were you at home or were you in a Portuguese cafe?
Well, we were actually having a few drinks at a friend of mine. We were having a few drinks at his bar, and I was looking at the score, and I'm just like, this is turning into a cricket score. This is not going to be very good.
And was the atmosphere electric in the bar? Because I imagine, Portuguese love the football wherever it's played, and I imagine it would have created a bit of an atmosphere.
Well, this friend of mine, who I gave you the contact of this friend of mine. The funny thing is, he's if you've got a second or two, I'll give you a little bit of a background. He's a huge, there are two teams, Benfica in Lisbon and Sporting Lisbon. right? He's a huge Sporting Lisbon fan, and he has, since the time we arrived, became very good friends. This is one of the first bars I went to, became very good friends, and he wanted me to convert to, not convert, but, a local team. And he said, don't pick Benfica, go with Sporting Lisbon. And he is a huge Sporting Lisbon fan. And of course, Sporting Lisbon sold Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United. So that made me very, very happy. And I went and saw a Benfica game. I was not very impressed. So I told them today, I am for the taking as a fan. And very soon you will see me in my green and whites. I think I'm a local fan. It will be Sporting Lisbon for me.
So you've obviously considered this deeply.
Oh, this is a huge religious effect, if you may. I don't want to offend anyone who is religious, but the thing is, for football fans, it's a huge thing because I go to stadiums. From Canada, I was traveling to. We were flying to Manchester, going to games that we didn't have tickets for, and trying to get into United games. At Old Trafford. My wife, as supportive as she is with all my stupidity, this was the kind of stuff that we're up to as football fans.
She takes her marriage vows seriously, doesn't she? In sickness,
absolutely.
In sporting sickness and in health. What a great
woman.
Absolutely. I'm just putting who is your Portuguese team. Let's get a measure of who people are supporting around the world in Portugal. So I'll just add that to the screen there. I see as well, I'm looking at the Portugal news, and Bayern were training at the Cascade Wellness Resort in the Algarve to prepare for the quarterfinals. Mm-hmm. Are these the quarters that are actually being played in Portugal? Is that the big news as well?
Yes, this is. These are the quarters that are being played over here. They have been able to create, the bio bubble that we are talking about in sports. They've actually done an amazing job. So in Portugal, they've brought these teams over here, and this is the leg of Champions League that is going to be played over here.
Brilliant. Good news for Portugal, right? I mean, obviously not as big an economic impact as you would normally get, but it's got to be good news for Portugal one way or another, isn't it?
Well, amazing. I think I've watched the game in Porto. I've watched the game over here in Lisboa. The only game left is Sporting Lisbon. Their stadiums are amazing. Environment is spectacular. When you go in there, the only thing missing, I guess, is a little bit of alcohol. It's a non-alcoholic event, the entire thing. But it truly, like, when you go in there, even if you're not a football fan, if you were to go in there, you will take in the atmosphere. It's beautiful to watch.
Well, you make a great point there, because you already referenced religion, okay? And these great events of humanity where people gather together with passion and some sort of stirring inside them, you can't help but be taken in by that, can you? Whether it's going to Fatima, for example, or going to...
But here's the thing: in a lot of these events, there's a lot of church movement happening too. When you watch in Baptist church, when people are like, praising to the Lord and they're doing this. When you go to these matches, the environment is such, people are putting their hands up, and it's like you're in football church. I kind of buy into it. You stand in, I put my hand up. I'm not the most religious guy, so I'm standing over there. I'm just like, I'll do this with you, Benfica fans. This is fun, and that is what it's all about.
A taxi driver once told me that, Frank. Actually, the 3 Fs in Portugal are football, Fatima, and Fado. So I think I don't know if you do the same thing at a Fado gig and just get into a sort of religious posture. I don't know. We'll have to do that one night, won't we?
Remember that place that I told you where at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning is when the Fado gig starts? This is that religious Fado gig that we're talking about. We'll meet and we'll go there together.
Well, we got a new holy trinity of football, Fado, and Fatima tonight. And again, hoping not to offend. It's impossible these days, as we were discussing last night, but we will stick around and clear up the mess. That's what we promised to do. So looking ahead, this is exciting for tomorrow, isn't it? August 8th,
yes.
Man City versus Lyon. How do you think that's going to go?
Well, it's Man City. First of all, noisy neighbors. We're not very fond of them. I would like it to be an upset. Hopefully, Lyon takes them down 2-1. That's what I'm hoping for as a United fan. I just don't think these Pep Guardiola teams are built the way we want to see them. Maybe he will take it all the way this year, but I just don't think these plastic credit card teams are built the same way as the old United teams or as the old Arsenal teams. It's not the same situation.
You don't sound bitter at all. Moving on from there, you'd like to see an upset. 3 days later, a Man City here in Portugal as well. Then at the moment,
I think this may be. I think this may be the game that's being played over here. This might be.
Yeah,
don't quote me on it, but this is the game probably.
We'll have a look. Sorry, I interrupted myself there. Moving 3 days on, August the 18th, 8 p.m. kickoff. Leipzig versus PSG. How do you think that's going to go? And while we're about it, I mean, what final would you like to see?
I actually want to, this year, since my team is not in it, it's very convenient. I want to see the underdogs play against each other. Leipzig, they played against Atletico Madrid, and they were spectacular. This team never gets mentioned. And usually you've got like a team like, let's say, PSG with all its superstars, with crybabies like Neymar. I hope my wife is not listening to this, but you've got crybabies like Neymar, and you've got all these extremely expensive players who just don't play football. There's a lot of play acting going on. And I think a team like Leipzig, hardworking team, that they will keep on pressing. I think this is the kind of team that needs to go through, but they've got so much firepower. PSG, Neymar, you've got Cavani up front. These are very, very good teams, but I'm hoping for Leipzig. I'm hoping for some kind of mischief. You know what I mean, Carl? When your team is not in it, you want some kind of mischief to happen.
Well, yeah, and you want some entertainment, really, don't you? Because your home value has gone, and anything can happen, and hopefully it will.
Yes. And if you're a football fan, this is one of the things that you always do: is you look at a football match and you say, what kind of entertainment can I get out of there? What kind of drama queens are going to really pronounce themselves today? And you go away with it.
Just wanted to ask you again, what was it you were saying about Neymar?
Drama queen, crybaby, not the best player in the world. And my wife is listening.
That's why I asked you. That's not fair, is it?
It's not fair. Great. Lamb to the slaughter. Nice one, Carl.
You walk straight into that, buddy. Okay, let's change the subject completely now. It looks like it's not the greatest moment for C7 at the moment. A story here from the Portugal news. Ronaldo, I'd love your view on this. Ronaldo double fails to save Juventus. As the Champions League quarterfinals prepared to invade Lisbon, there would be no return to the capital for the country's most iconic sporting hero, Cristiano Ronaldo. Or we just call him Cristiano, right? Juventus were eliminated by Lyon. So Lyon on good form and riding high on that for tomorrow's fixture. On away goals after a 2-1 win for the Italians on home soil. Leveled the tie at 2-2 on aggregate. Ronaldo got both goals for Juve, but the Portugal captain is out of the tournament before the quarterfinals for the first time in 10 years. The Italians went into the match having clinched a 9th successive Italian league win and title. Losing 3 of their final 4 league games and elimination from the Champions League spelt the end of the road for manager Maurizio Sarri. That's always a bad moment, isn't it? Who has been replaced by former Juventus favourite and Italian international Angelo Pirlo. Lyon, with a 1-goal lead from the first leg, doubled their advantage after just 12 minutes with Filippo Bernardeschi tripped Hussein Aouar, if I pronounced that correctly. Memphis Depay duly dispatched the resulting penalty, and Juventus now needed to score 3, which they obviously didn't. 35-year-old, that's interesting, isn't it? I have him down in my mind as a younger, immortal player, but the 35-year-old Cristiano might have done better with a headed chance midway through the first half. he was then denied by fellow countryman. Lopez in the Lyon goal before finally getting on the score sheet from the penalty spot to level the game at 1-1. After the break, Juve needed 2 goals, but could only find their way to pass Lopez on one further occasion, and it took something spectacular from Ronaldo. So still magical, but if you were him, would you be disappointed by that, by how this has turned out, not to be playing here in the quarterfinals, not returning to home soil? Or is that just part and parcel of, becoming an older player and an inevitable trajectory of your professional life?
Well, I'd be very disappointed in this article because it's a hit job. First off, football is a team sport. When you are the biggest and the best player in the world, all right, put your paycheck aside. I think it's the influence that you have on the team. But you have to also remember there are other members on the team. This guy, every league that he has been in, he has gone and he's dominated that league. He played in the Premier League, which is the most difficult league to play in. Then he went into the Spanish video game league and scored goals for fun. And then he's now gone and tested himself in a completely new league, in the Italian league, which is a defensive league. He's still scoring goals. He's still the top scorer in that team at this age. This guy physically can carry on for another 3 or 4 years. You can't say the same for Messi. Calvin and I have had conversations about Messi and Ronaldo. We are in agreement for most of it, but I believe that it's very unfair to throw all the blame on your I guess all it comes down to is the pay packet. It's not the player himself, because it's a team sport. In the end, it's your goalkeeper. It's everything that is going on. Memphis Depay, the player that you mentioned in there, used to be a Manchester United reject. We had him for at least 2 seasons, did nothing, went to Lyon, and from there, God knows what he did. But he's not the kind of player who should be mentioned in the same sentence as Cristiano Ronaldo. And based on what I'm saying, I guess you can confirm that I'm not a huge Cristiano Ronaldo fan.
What was in my mind is that when you said put the paycheck aside, I'm thinking that's a 3-man job, putting a paycheck that size to one side. But I think you make a really good point. And I suppose, newspapers are in the business of selling papers and getting a bit of controversy. And, they're never slow to stick the boot in, to use a footballing analogy. So, yeah, I get you. All right. Is there anything you wanted to say about soccer at the moment?
As far as football is concerned, I think the biggest thing that is happening, and we in Portugal need to understand and realize one thing, that we have the privilege of, first of all, of being in a country that is very football friendly. My appeal to everyone is, let's support the league where we are. Let's support the local teams. Let's support everything that goes on over here, because along with the football comes the culture. And that's where we have come, and that's what we are trying to participate in. It's not a big thing. It's just that it would be great if everyone participated, got a team together. And I think Calvin has picked Sporting Lisbon. I don't know. I still haven't asked you, Carl. Which team are you thinking you're going to pick?
It's funny you should ask that. When I lived in Devon, in the southwest of England, I went to see Exeter games. I lived in Exeter. And so I went to the football ground that I could walk to. And I've just moved again just recently. And I am delighted to say that my local team is Anadia FC, who you will probably not have heard of, but there's a few pictures. There's a few pictures on the screen there, Frank. Don't laugh. I know it's not sporting. But I tell you what, I bet some players have come through here to the big Portuguese teams. You're bang on, mate. When you talk about how important this sport is to the local culture, look at the facilities here. This is a team you haven't heard of. You see this picture here? Here's a youth squad there. This stadium is walkable from my house, and it's massive, full-on floodlighting, incredible facilities. I can't wait to go and watch a match there. I'm really looking forward to it. So, in answer to your question, Anadia FC all the way. AFC, the boys.
There you go. I want to see you in that jersey. The other thing is, I'm actually very proud of you. This is why I really like you, is because you associate yourself to these teams. What's happening? What's the Irish thing going over there? Is there any Irish association to this team?
I'm taking that as a lucky sign. So I am.
There you go.
Embracing that. I've got some Irish roots myself, and I'm taking that as a sign to fully embrace this team. And yes, Frank, I will be buying the jersey. Someone's laughing. Someone's put a laughter emoticon on it. They're just joining in with you. Give me a bit of a ribbon for supporting Anadia FC. But I'm taking Keith Clover as a good sign there.
I hope that's not Rachel, because I hear her laughing.
Oh, it is. Okay, well, it's 1-1. It's 1-1. She got you on a name, or she's got me on the Anadia FC. And I'll tell you,
I'll tell you, as far as stadiums are concerned, the one stadium, as a football fan, that we should, and I hope you can, if you can, please bring the stadium up. It's the Braga Stadium, where it is a beautiful stadium. Just to go and have a look at the stadium, because I actually, since I'm such a geek, I went while I was in Canada. I went and had a look at some of the videos for this stadium. It's a beautiful stadium in Braga, so that's another very good option for someone to pick. I'm very proud of you. Anadia sounds like a very, very good team. I hope that Anadia do very, very well in the next. Are they in the first division or are they in the second division?
Oh, come on! You already put me on the spot now. I don't know. I've only
just I'm not. I just want to know.
Before the show's out, I will have found out. And what I'm thinking of doing, you want to see me in the jersey. Do you know what I might do? With my Irish roots, I might go and speak to the chairman and say, look,
there you go.
I'm from the United Kingdom. I've got roots in Ireland. I might even dress up as a leprechaun for you and walk around and bring you some extra luck from the old place. How about that?
There you go. That's spectacular. I think if you can do that, this will really, really go well. And especially if you can get the jersey with all the leprechaun action, it'll be beautiful.
Leprechaun action. Fantastic. Okay. You mentioned the Braga Stadium. Look at it. It's made out of a piece of rock.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. And this is what someone told me, actually, before I moved to Portugal. They said to me, among other things, like the usual things, you'll love Portugal. The people are great. The country's great. The weather's great. The food's great. The toll roads are great. No, not the toll roads. But it's all great. And you must go to Braga Stadium. And you get to see why here. What's going on there?
This is a beautiful stadium. This is, if anything, this is begging for all of us to get together and go there together and watch a football match together.
Mate, we've got so many trips out to do, haven't we? And the architecture of this is extraordinary. Really, really, really inventive, as you learn and as you see with a lot of Portuguese architecture. They're not afraid of a slope, are they?
They are not.
They're not afraid of a slope in this country. So yes, Frank, we must put that on our list of field trips, wine-related and football-related now. Okay.
Absolutely.
Good points, sir, about bringing up the football culture, encouraging people to pick a team. You've encouraged me to do that tonight, and I have plumped for Anadia FC with the four-leaf clover. Why oh why? Moving on now. Why? How is it a Canadian is interested in cricket? Is there a big cricket playing tradition in Canada?
Yes, well, I've played cricket. There's a huge cricket playing tradition in Canada. Canada has not been very well represented as far as World Cups are concerned. It has something to do with my background. Half of my background is Persian, the other background is Pakistani. So I have played a lot of cricket in Canada. And it's actually quite organized. It's a very, very good system of I don't know if it will be equivalent to England's first class system. It obviously is not, but it's quite organized. So they develop quite a few one-day players, 2020 players. So that's where my affiliation with cricket starts. You know where this is going, right?
That you're a Pakistan supporter, ultimately?
Not only that, to the cricket match that's going on right now.
Go on, tell all.
All right. Well,
You're
are you a huge cricket fan, Carl?
Funny thing about cricket is probably the sport I'm best at. And what I'm thinking is that we now have the possibility of a world all stars world team drawn from our various heritages that we've touched upon there to create a Good Morning Portugal cricket team. Now we've got so many projects to deal with. At school, I was good at cricket. I think I took 5 or 6 wickets in one a Wednesday afternoon in England. I don't know if it's the same around the world, but Wednesday afternoon is sports day. I went to a posh school that had its own cricket ground, and I went there and I was a spin bowler as a kid, and I
Okay.
started taking a couple of wickets, and then the other side got really scared. It was a house match. It wasn't an inter-school match. It was just a sports afternoon. And I began to see a look of terror in the opposition in their eyes as they stepped up to the crease as I was taking these wickets. And I think I got 5 or 6 in one match. And what terrified me, Frank, about that is, as much as I loved it, I thought they're going to pick me for the school team here, and I had a Saturday job, and I didn't want to compromise my commercial career on a Saturday morning at my job by having to go all over London and Surrey or whatever playing cricket for the school. It would have been my worst nightmare. So I threw it after that. I think I could have carried on and been a complete demon, but I thought I better rein it in a bit. And I just thought, no, I can't be showing myself off as too good here. So I like it, but I didn't get anywhere with it. But as an older man now, I'm thinking that could be a lot of fun, couldn't it, in the Portuguese sunshine on a sunny afternoon?
Absolutely. This country, like when you walk around and the amount of sunshine you get over here, it's just unbelievable why a lot of cricket is not played over here. As a matter of fact, I don't see a lot of cricket grounds over here. I don't understand why, because if there were cricket pitches over here and you had sunshine all the time and not as much rain right now based on the test series that is going on in England, I think it would be amazing. I do think there's organized cricket played over here. As a matter of fact, I've even done a little bit of homework on going and checking out which club teams play over here. I think a lot of cricket is played in Porto, the region of Porto, up top.
Yeah. Well, after you've told us about what your view on the test at the moment, I mean, do you still see England or the United Kingdom as the epicenter of cricket? Is that where your focus tends to go?
Always is, always will be. As a Canadian, it's I have it was 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I've done this where I've flown from Canada to go and see entire Test series, or I've gone and seen one-day matches from one city to another. I've gone to Lord's. Gone and seen cricket matches over here. The wife would not accompany me because she obviously, as a Brazilian, she's got nothing to do with cricket. But it is England. Watching cricket in England is so different from watching cricket anywhere else. And the reason why I say that is because it's an entire experience. You go in. This is what I liked, and this is the diversity of watching cricket. Let's say at Lord's, I went and watched a cricket game. There were people over here having chicken and something else in the stands, and there was this beautiful couple over here having with their sandwich. They had brought like 2 bottles of champagne, and they were watching a game at Lord's. And I was telling my wife about that. I was just like, if nothing else, come and drink champagne with me at Lord's. This will be unbelievable. It's the experience that you go for. One thing that we always forget is, if nothing else, when you go to these kinds of iconic stadiums, or when you go to these venues, it's what you celebrate. It's not only the sport, it's the tradition that you celebrate. And that's what I love.
Yeah, I can see that. I was getting excited hearing you say that. It is a cultural phenomenon, isn't it? And also, there's another religious reference in that I heard. You know, as you might be talking to someone, and where are you off to, Frank? You know, on your trip, I'm off to Lourdes, and people immediately think that you're going to France to be bathed in holy water, but instead you're going to London to go to that Lourdes and be bathed in cricketing Holy Spirit, because obviously that is a sacred ground, isn't it?
It is unbelievable. It's a kind of phenomena. It's very difficult to explain to someone. Even if you're married to someone for 15, 20 years, you explain the experience of sitting in a test match. It might be boring for that person. Like I've been watching, I watch cricket the entire day when it's on. And my poor wife, she sometimes comes up to me and she goes, "What's going on over here? I want to get involved." I go, "It's not about getting involved. There is this inherent attachment to what you watch as a cricket fan, as opposed to someone who just does not understand the game. It's so different, and especially if you're talking to someone who's North American, it's even more difficult because they bring out these baseball references that really annoy you as a cricket fan. You're just like, this is not baseball, man. Baseball is a power sport. This is a sport called technique. Everything about cricket is about art and technique. It's got nothing to do with muscle. You've got these big burly guys with a little twiggy bat hitting a ball, and I'm a baseball fan. We've watched baseball games together, but there's no comparison.
That's a really beautiful insight into the game there, and the differences, the nuances of cricket there, and a really good insight into the British psyche, I think, as well, isn't it? I mean, the kind of the pace, the apparent still surface, but burning and seething resentment beneath the surface. It's all underneath, isn't it? All that's going on is underneath a calm surface, and you couldn't wish for a better metaphor or kind of reference to the British psyche than that.
It's the lava that's always burning underneath. This is what I love. Whenever you are watching cricket in England, one thing that I love, it's the lava that's burning underneath. This guy is sitting right next to you, and he's got something happening. He's got the commentary going in one ear, and there is one. I have rarely seen Brits get so emotional other than being at a cricket match. This is the most amount of emotion you're going to get out of them.
That's right. It's a Brexit reference to be had in there as well. The boiling over of the lava that you speak about, but probably the less said about it. What did you want to say about the test that's going on at the moment? I think Pakistan have closed at 223 for 9. That's pretty respectable, isn't it?
It's not. Well, what's happened is the first test. If you look at a test match, you look at sessions, right? And the first test, out of the 12 sessions that happened, the first test, Pakistan, let's say, won 10 sessions. England won 2 sessions, but they won the key sessions. And what it comes down to is how you manage your resources. The biggest problem that Pakistan has is obviously the captain, and what kind of strategies they are working. Pakistan teams usually have been full of talent. There are players who can come, match winners that can come and win you the game within a spell. The problem that has happened over here is that they lost the first test. The confidence is down. Now you're into the second test, and you lost quite a few wickets. The middle order is not working. The top order, at least one of the other openers scored. Shan Masood went out for 1, and I think Abd Ali scored about 60 runs. And then after that, you've got the cream player, the Virat Kohli. India has Virat Kohli, Pakistan has Babar Azam. You shouldn't be comparing because I'm a huge fan of Virat Kohli too. But Babar Azam went on and scored a few runs in this game. But for me, the revelation in this game, Rizwan scoring 60 runs without having the technique to play on English pitches. And the reason why this test has been very, very interesting after day 2 is because it's the stop and start thing. So you've got to go in, and not only it's a session, it's a very short session. So there's a problem with the light, there's a problem with the rain, there's all these kinds of issues. So 223 is sort of respectful. What I was expecting is somewhere around 300. to challenge England. Even though England's top order, especially if you're talking about the openers, they do not have very good technique. And I think they're going to get found out. The good thing is that Pakistan, after 11 years, gave a chance to Fawad Alam at number 6 or number 7 where he's playing. So this will be a very interesting test match. I'm really, really looking forward to the third day.
A final prediction from you, given that we stepped into territory?
I think this test, if Pakistan can put on, he scored 60 right now. He's with the last man in. I think if he can put in another 25 to 30 runs, I think it's anybody's game. I'm a Pakistan fan, so I think Pakistan takes this test match.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll come back to that, hopefully in the company of Calvin Avery next week. Because he too is I mean, he loves all sports, doesn't he? But I think he can give you a bit of a run for your money, pardon the pun, with cricket as well. So I think perhaps, I mean, unless there's any more cricket news. Oh yeah, actually, I've got something I wanted to share with you about cricket in Portugal, because of course it's always good to make the Portuguese connection. Do you know a place in Portugal called Miranda de Corvo?
I haven't. No, I haven't heard of that.
Central Portugal, in many ways, you know, the epitome of life in central Portugal. A lovely place, well loved by expats and obviously Portuguese alike. And there is a floodlit cricket stadium at Miranda de Corvo Cricket Club, which attracts foreign cricket teams every year to the municipality, which has resulted in a reciprocal growth in tourism. So there is cricket tourism in Portugal, in Miranda de Corvo. And so they say that there's an economic growth in bars, hotels and restaurants as a result. And they have a beer record, which, who knows? If we do have a Good Morning Portugal, no, I'm not going to put myself forward for this, but there is a beer record that belongs to the Ploughman's Cricket Club of the Surrey Cricket League, obviously coming from the UK. You can't get more British coming from Surrey. And they drank 566 beers. This is sounding like an innings, isn't it? They drank 566 beers in total, usurping Swansea University's previous record, absolutely trouncing it. The previous record was 403, and the Ploughman's Cricket Club drank 566. I don't know how this is related. Oh, it's in the economy section in Wikipedia, so I'm not going to tell you about the market that sells local and fresh produce. But there we go. We could go to see some cricket, international cricket, effectively at Miranda de Corvo. Add that to our list as well. 566,
no declaration. I love this. This is good.
I imagine they were all out after that, though. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so let's go from British cricket and Pakistani cricket to American cricket, known as baseball, notwithstanding the comments you've already made, Frank. Tell us how, I mean, for the first things first, how the hell does that game work? I understand it.
It's actually, if you go to a baseball park, one of the things to do first off is, especially in Toronto, remember we had this conversation about how things are very expensive in Canada as far as spectator sport is concerned. So you go and get yourself a huge gulp of beer, and it will cost you $8. No, it will cost you $12 or $13 Canadian. And so the best way to watch baseball is with a lot of beer. Is you really need to get licked when you are watching baseball. It is the kind of sport where you've got 3 bases, and just like cricket, if you can get a little bit of understanding of the game, if you can see what this person is doing to get from second base to third base, and what the technique is, then you will really get into the sport. Baseball is all about the way that they spread it out is basically the guy who starts up top. Like let's say for example, in cricket, you've got the opener, right? You've got 2 openers. In baseball, you've got the opener. Only thing you expect from him is to get you a base hit. By that, what they mean is they expect you to get from first to second base so you can start your inning properly. and based on this, you slowly work on. Then you've got your power hitters at least number 3, number 4, number 5. You've got your power hitters who will go out and hit you that home run, which clears all the bases. It's a very interesting sport. There's no way I would ever demean baseball. I think it's a spectacular sport. It's just that I find cricket is more technical. Baseball is a lot about brute strength. There is some technique involved. There is a lot involved in baseball, but it is about brute strength in the end.
And of course, it's a spectacle, isn't it? And that is a major difference as well. I mean, these as much as I've said, cricket is an insight into the British psyche. How sport is played in North America is an insight into that psyche, isn't it? And it's about the spectacular. It's about the big game, isn't it? It's about TV. It's about advertising, and it's a consumer event as well. And you can see that, can't you, with baseball? It looks like a hell of a lot of fun, showbiz, entertainment, all of it.
It's about nostalgia. It's about the one thing. If we boil it down to, it's about your memories. So, like, let's say I remember you were having this conversation about. I don't mean to change the subject. You were having this conversation about boxing, right? Where you have certain memories where you were watching a boxing match with your dad. As a matter of fact, when you said that, I exactly had the same memory, because I used to watch boxing matches with my dad. And I have exactly the same kind of memories where certain things stick with you. The thing is with cricket, of course, I've watched cricket matches with my father. I've watched baseball as a teenager in Canada. So you have this affiliation, especially it's a team sport. So you're from Toronto, so it's a Toronto Blue Jays. If it's a hockey team, then it's a Toronto Maple Leafs. And these are these are the kinds of things that are attached to your psyche based on your memories with your loved ones. So it has everything to do with the culture. In the US, it's a huge thing, because in the US, it's a huge fanfare. Everything is. It's American football. I'm not a huge fan of American football, because I actually, as a matter of fact, I call it American rugby with a lot of pads on. So that is also, and now you've got me offending American football fans. Thanks, Carl.
That's okay. It's the least I could do. It's the least I could do. So specifically, then, is baseball on at the moment? And how's the game been affected, like everything in the world with the pandemic? What's going on in the world of baseball right now?
It has been affected. To be very honest with you, I have not kept in touch with baseball a lot, but the one sport that I've kept in touch with is my home country sport, which is hockey.
Let's go into that then right now. What's happening in the hockey world? And again, it's so interesting. When you say hockey to a British person, they are thinking of the game played on grass. Obviously, you're talking about ice hockey here.
Well, yes, I agree with you. It's the difference between field hockey and ice hockey. Ice hockey, well, it's called hockey in North America. This is the league that is after. Let me sequence this correctly. You've got basketball. You've got baseball. You've got some other sport, and then hockey comes last. And hockey is a spectacular sport. If I was to explain hockey, to me, hockey is the best overall sport. If you want to test an athlete, hockey is the sport, because not only does it test your strength, it's about, on two small skates, being able to balance yourself, taking hits. It's a physical sport. Hockey is back. My team, as always, continues to suck. Wayne's team is doing very well. The Habs, you see, the thing is that the Habs or Montreal Canadiens have been the celebrated team in Canada for the longest time because they at least win once a decade. The cup to win is Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I'm
The
looking at that.
The Leafs have not won since 1967, and I look like a complete idiot wearing this T-shirt right now. I completely understand, and you can have a right-on laugh at me, but we are miserable. We were. It's not about luck. It's just in Toronto, regardless of how much the team has sucked for decades, they can still fill up the stadiums with fans, and the minimum ticket price is $200.
Wow.
$200 per person. So an entire family, like let's say on a Friday night, you want to take yourself, Mrs., 2 kids. It's after your hot dogs and daddy's had 2 beers. You're talking about a $1,000 job. It's very expensive.
Every month or every 2 weeks or what? How would that work?
Every match, every game. You go to watch a hockey game. Like let's say you got seats in like this. The seats are not nosebleeds, but the seats are middle of the arena. You would probably pay $150, $175 minimum. To 200 to get a ticket. So if it's a family of 4, you're going to pay 800. By the time you're done with all your hot dogs or pizza or beer or whatever you have, it's a $1,000 night. As a matter of fact, the management acknowledges that. The Toronto Maple Leafs acknowledge that this is how much it would cost you, but we're not expecting you to come more than once a season.
It's unbelievable, and presumably it's a corporate matter. So a lot of people there are there at the expense of other people. How much do people earn a month in Canada? Who are paying that sort of money?
It depends, but minimum wage is right now. I think it's about $15 or $16 per hour.
Wow. Okay, so it's a very significant investment.
It's a huge investment. You have to be a proper fan. If you go over there, you are going to take care of your rent, and right after that, it's going to be the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yes, and Rachel, a fellow fan, obviously, go Leafs, go, but also the Bruins as well. Have I said that right? The Bruins,
the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, Bruins. Okay,
classic team, beautiful team. They are huge. They are huge rivals of the Montreal Canadiens.
Okay. Well, thank you for tuning in tonight, Xander, and shouting out for the Bruins, Boston Bruins. I mean, they would also be known as Boston if we're looking at the Stanley Cup playoffs here. I've brought that up on the screen. Is that the beginning of the tournament then? Is that where we stand with the NHL at the moment? That it's everything to play for. We're just beginning. Is that right?
We are. This is usually the season. The hockey season ends around March or April, but because of the coronavirus, they've obviously figured out a way to play these playoff series. The Leafs were playing Columbus. The Leafs lost that series, and now I think we're towards the final stages of the season.
I'm trying to find out what your odds are here. Can you see on that screen?
Yeah.
You're not. Is it so bad? I mean, I feel your pain. It's like being an England fan in the World Cup, isn't it? Not one since 1966. It's very similar, but it would appear that length of grief almost makes fans even more diehard than they would otherwise be. So why do you not figure in the odds here? Is it because you're just not you don't figure?
Because we suck as a team. Here's how bad we suck. I'll give an example. In the 80s, and if you want to bring this up, this will actually be very good for proper hockey fans because they'll understand this. We traded. We did a trade with Montreal we did Russ Courtnall for John Cordick. The equivalent being, we actually got from Montreal, we got a bouncer and what we gave them is a proper hockey player, a winger. These are the kinds of trades we have made through our history. It's been the kind of team where hockey fans in Toronto have been. It's one thing called frustration. Usually, when a fan is frustrated, you'll kind of find them being, you know what, I don't want to watch this team anymore. This is proper misery. But Toronto fans still flock to watch Toronto Maple Leafs lose. And here I am wearing that same jersey.
No, I get it.
Go explain that one.
No, it's a sadomasochistic thing. Here's a little bit of background. Yeah, it's not a world I know a lot about, but that is a fine looking outfit, if nothing else.
It's not about the outfit. It's about winning.
I have to say, it is only about the outfit. Never mind. The best looking losers ever.
Thank you there, Carl. I know which side you're on. Your jersey is not coming anymore.
No, actually, we will both be sporting flora-based jerseys. But I'll have my 4-leaf clover. You'll have your maple leaf there. So we're brothers in that sort of flora-based way there, and hopefully Anadia FC are going to do a lot better than the Leafs do.
I really want to see Anadia's jersey. Is there a way you can pop up the Anadia jersey? I really want to see this jersey. Does it look like Porto's jersey by any chance?
No, it looks. I'll go back to it, but it looks more like Sheffield Wednesday actually.
Okay.
Yeah, like the Owls of Sheffield. I can bring it up if I bring up those images again for you. We'll see that. Anything else you want to say before I share this golf news, this staggering golf news that's coming up?
No. Please go ahead.
Before we do, then there's the beautiful logo that I'm falling in love with already. They look like Sheffield Wednesday, don't they? If my memory serves.
They do. Is that the reason, or you just don't want to win ever?
Are you suggesting I'd be better off in a Blades looking outfit?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on here.
I lived in Sheffield, and of the two teams, I did prefer Sheffield Wednesday, as to be said, rather than the Blades Sheffield United. I'm going to see. I'm not going to support them. I'm not going to like Man United fans who just support the team that always used to win. I'm supporting them because they're local.
No. Here's the thing. Yeah. Oh, you got me there. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. With proper United fans, and I'll give you a bit of history if you can give me 2 seconds. My dad is a Liverpool fan. Always has been a Liverpool fan. I went against my dad when I was a kid. I was just like, you know what? This can't be. The old man can't be ruling the roost like this. We have to pick a different team. So I picked United as a kid. And during the 80s, you and I, you would know, United were not that great until we got to 88, 89. There are fans like me who have supported United all the way through. There are some T-shirt fans, of course. We've progressed into that. It's become a huge empire. But there are also fans who understand the history, who know the team inside out. You are a fan if you know who the academy players are, who's coming up next, who is in line next, who should be playing on the left or who should be playing on the right. So, thanks.
And you do. No, fair play to you. You do, and I was just having a little dig there. It's a perennial dig, isn't it, at Man United? But I you should not be tarred with that same brush. You are a truly passionate United fan, so no problems there. No need to explain yourself. But that must have been interesting for you and your dad, for sure. Was he disappointed?
He's eternally disappointed, but especially.
part of a dad's job, isn't it?
Yes, it's his full-time job. What did you do today? Oh, you played United. Thank you. Disappointment. See you later. Bye.
Brilliant. Okay. I can tell you actually, Frank, that we are third. I've just had a quick look. Whichever league it is that Anadia are in, they are in the same league, it would appear, as Fatima. They are third in that league. But I can only see 5 teams, which is a bit worrying. Surely the league is bigger than 5 teams. But mate, it's not a massive country, is it? So we have Benfica Castelo, I think, a different Benfica. Castelo Branco's team is in second, and Praense are the top team in the league that Anadia find themselves in as well.
Some of these sound like a dish at a tasca.
It's true. It's absolutely true. But I will keep you informed. I'm going to stick with my team, Anadia, and that will be an unfolding theme. Bit of golf news now, because obviously I was thinking of drawing up a little meme in the last few days, like what I thought I'd be doing when I came to Portugal, what my friends think I'd be doing in Portugal, and what I actually do in Portugal. Most recently, the picture of me in Portugal is being in IKEA at bloody 10:30 at night. That's not how I thought it was going to pan out. What my friends think I do in Portugal, what a lot of people think goes on in Portugal, is that you play golf and drink gin and tonic all the time, and you wear socks together. But I think it is right to share this news about this new Portuguese golfers' advice to prepare for a new era. Do you play golf, or as you North Americans say, do you golf?
Here's the embarrassing situation. I played golf once. These friends of mine, we obviously went and had lots of gin and tonics, and this is the first time I was going in. So I picked up a golf club. I was just like, I'm going to give it a nice quick cricket swing. And my buddy handed me a ladies club. And that was the end of my golf club career, because nothing went nowhere. It was extremely embarrassing. Kids were laughing at me. So that was the end of it.
Oh, mate!
But this is something that I have also thought. We're coming over here to Portugal. One of the things that I thought that I would get into is golf. Golf would be wonderful, especially the golf courses around the Algarve. I'm quite sure you're talking about that.
It's another field trip already. It's another field trip. What could possibly go wrong? A few of us going to play golf in the Algarve and having a few beers. Maybe after that Miranda de Corvo record attempt. So in Portugal, there is an August target for the World Handicap System. As recently reported here in the Portugal Resident, Portugal is on course to adopt the new World Handicap System, the WHS, not to be confused with the WHO, who I'm sure probably do have some sort of golf-related health target. But anyway, and the exciting update is that from as early as mid-August, Portuguese golfers are scheduled to begin moving towards the new version. Hopefully we'll find out what that actually means here. Ideally, the process from the current arrangement to the new version would be seamless, a bit like Brexit, but initially, at least, teething problems and challenges are to be expected, like Brexit. National associations, golf clubs, and individual golfers will require time to get used to the new system. Can we see what the new system is, or have we already glazed over and lost interest? I don't know. Maybe enough said to recognize that a new handicapping system is coming in. And if you don't know anything about that, it's the way that you get a fair game. I mean, some people play like Frank I mean, I'm not knocking you, Frank, because obviously you were put in a very difficult position there in front of a crowd with a woman's club and expecting to play it like a cricket ball. That was never going to end well. And I think we should get you on a kind of counseling-based approach, sort of like, it's almost like golf-based PTSD for you. We need to get you, we need to get you in some safe hands in a very loving environment so that you can improve your golf game. And I look forward to that in the Algarve.
Not just that sport, quite a few other sports and quite a few other vocations.
Here's the thing then, Frank, to finish with tonight. What sports do you play? Because it's really important, isn't it, to not only be involved in, the watching and the punditry and the passion and the being a fan. Do you play any sports?
Yeah, squash.
So you're a squash player. Okay, well, that's a man's game. Isn't it? That is a terrifying game. I
love the sport. I love since the time We've been over here. I haven't been able to find a proper squash club, but that is the sport that I play on a regular basis. Other than that, it's the gym action, whatever. But squash is something that I could get into any day.
Fantastic. All right. So if anyone wants to play squash with Frank in the Lisboa area, I think he might be available for that. So you've obviously got all your kit with you. How do you play? Are you a very aggressive player, or do you have to be?
You have to be squash. You would have to be, especially if someone is attacking the tee all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there you go. Frank is a squash player. I'd like to finish, if I may, with a boxing anecdote that's just come in. I like to see myself as a triathlete. Nobody else does, but I like to see myself as a triathlete. I do a kind of soft triathlon. We've now got a pool where we live, so I'm occasionally in the pool. I ride a bike quite a lot, and I walk quite a lot. So that's hence calling it a soft triathlon. I don't think I've been in better shape ever in my life as a result of all of that. And I want to relate to you a really pleasing thing, and this is the reason why I asked you what sport you play. It's because I got involved in a boxing club in my last job that I was made redundant from, which prompted the move to Portugal. But I started a boxing club, and it was for people with disabilities. I worked with a fantastic coach by the name of Chris Rattenbury. Chris has sent me a message tonight. One of our colleagues in the boxing club, we call him the Viking. Let's just call him the Viking because Coach Chris gave us all nicknames. I was the Cobra on account of my quick jabs, and another one of our colleagues was called the Viking. And I heard this awful news tonight that Eric, the Viking, got attacked on the street where he lives in Devon. And Chris is doing a story about boxing self-defense classes because he's asked me, can you call me, please, and add to the story? I'd be delighted, Chris. He was attacked. This is a man, and he does have a disability, the Viking, and he was attacked by 3 men from behind. Here's how it ended, though. He banged 2 of them out and came off the better, safe and well, using the boxing skills he was taught. He just spoke to him. He's setting up a radio gig, etc. Please make contact. I will be making contact with you, Chris, Coach Chris, if you're listening. Isn't that fantastic? That 3 bullies attack a man from behind who they think they can get the better of. He turns round, and because he's done a bit of boxing tuition, he's taken 2 of them out and ended up safe and well as a result. I'm so delighted to hear that happy ending to that story.
I am extremely delighted that at least 2 of the bums got what was coming to them. Boxing is such a fascinating sport. I'm actually a huge boxing fan too, and we haven't spoken about boxing today. But first off, this situation, this is so amazing to hear, and I think that any kind. Whenever you can put a young man or a young woman into the boxing gym and teach them a bit of that, a little bit of self-defense here and there, it goes. I think it does something to their confidence. I'm quite sure boxing does that.
Yep, and I think what's happened with the Viking there, we did weeks of training. I learned things about, getting punched in the face and it hurting is a big teacher, because that really hadn't happened to me on any profound level. But in the boxing training, I got caught a couple of times, and actually trying to hold your hands up for a minute while someone's trying to hit you is remarkably difficult, and it puts you into an altered state of alertness and fitness and so on. And clearly, what's happened there is it's come back to him. It's come back to the Viking in that moment of being oppressed by 3 drunks or whatever. It's all come back to him in that moment, and he's managed to remember the skills and deal with the situation. And I think that's what you're saying there, isn't it? Is that something gets instilled within you, and you have a confidence, and I think that can only be a good thing.
It's your natural instinct. I think that if something becomes your natural instinct and you immediately switch to it, it's remarkable. I think along with self-defense, boxing, it should be necessary for all kids to get into. I think it's the kind of sport that it just builds so much within you. I don't necessarily think getting punched in the face when people think about it, they say, "Oh God, I don't want to get punched in my face." But getting punched in the face also does something. Haven't you? Like most of us, a lot of us have gotten punched in the face when we were in high school or we were doing whatever. I actually think getting punched in the face taught you something, because next time when you got punched in the face, you were just like, you know what? Next time when I hit this guy, it's going to be twice as hard.
Yes, indeed. And reverting back to our conversation of last evening, these are not very politically correct concepts, but I think it's another one of those situations where we may well have thrown the baby out with the bathwater. And as who is it, Jordan Peterson, that quite remarkable social commentator, says, when it comes to men, there is always the underlying threat of violence. That's the ultimate position it goes to, and you could do well if you never need to use it. It's great, but if you do on occasion, isn't it a wonderful thing to have done a bit of training and to feel a bit of confidence and to be able to look after yourself and those with
It is a great switch mode to be in. I think he's right. I think that is the switch mode most guys have in them. I don't think that everyone is violent. They wish to be violent, but if that is a switch mode in them, I think good for them.
And it puts it in the right context. The boxers I've met, the great boxers I've met, amateurs, they are very gentle, respectful, well-mannered people, lovely people to be around, and they can obviously look after themselves. They've got it in the right place. They can look after themselves if they need to, but they're not out there putting their aggression in the wrong place. It's it's contextualized. So great news from England, and I absolutely will love to support that. The sharing of that particular article and situation. Final question here then, Frank. You've been amazing tonight, I have to say. Thank you so much for stepping into the... I think you well and truly filled the shoes of Calvin Avery tonight, and it wasn't an easy job. A final question from Xander over in Texas. Do you guys have disc golf courses there? I don't know the answer to that. It's maybe something we can pick up and run with. Do you know the answer to that?
No, I don't.
It's a different version. But what I do know, Portugal is absolutely sports obsessed. Every kind of sport I think is played here at some level, somewhere in the country. Walking football, fussball as it called, every variant of every kind of sport seems to be being played here. So I wouldn't be surprised if there were disc golf courses as well, Xander. We can look into that. Frank, you've been amazing.
Thank you. Same here.
Have you enjoyed yourself tonight?
This was amazing. I had a great time with you, and big feet, filling into big feet here.
Here's to the big feet of Calvin Avery. We'll raise a glass to that man and hope he can join us soon, along with Wayne Barker.
Raise a glass to him.
Few others missing in action tonight, but hopefully we'll get into the rhythm of this Friday 10 o'clock slot for the Expat Sport Report, and we'll have a few people having a beer, having a glass of wine, and talking about sharing their passion, predictions, and punditry around sport. Frank, take care. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Bon man, my friend. Love to rate you.
Take care. Thank you. Same to you. Bye-bye.
Ciao, everybody. Bon fin de semana to you all.